What is going on, everyone? Badger here. Be sure to like and sub, and let's get into this. The culture war is ongoing. It's ongoing, heating up. We've seen significant victories and some losses, but we're making real headway. It's multi-fronted, and specifically in the video game world right now, with Warhammer and Stellar Blade and Helldivers being the big one right now, where they're asking you to make an account, and in some countries, PSN network doesn't even exist, so you can't link something that doesn't exist, leading to the game being delisted. It's a whole drama over there, but you can't take your eyes off of the other major and original war front, some would say, and that is, of course, Hollywood. Hollywood and all of our TV shows and movies that have been ruined, are ruined, and or in the process of being ruined. Looking at you, Warhammer, in your live action. So yeah. Thankfully, Gary from Nerdrotic, Gary Beekler, he is here. We just reacted to him on the Will Kane show, Fox News, mainstream. Not Gary, but Fox News going mainstream by having Gary on, because we are the media now, the only ones with any sort of authenticity or trust. So here, let us see what Gary has to say on the current state of Hollywood.
It used to be you would go home at the end of the day. Most people would go, oh, Cheers is on. Oh, MASH is on. Oh, Mary Tyler Moore is on. All in the Family's on. You just expected there'll be some funny stuff we can watch on TV tonight. Well, guess what? Where is it? This is the result of the extreme left and PC crap and people worrying so much about offending other people.
Everything they're working on is terrible and is not very good.
Oh, and if that was relation to everything we've seen on Disney Plus, that would be great.
Nerdrotic.com.
Greetings, you over 1 million connoisseurs of common sense. Thank you very much. And the 40% who haven't subscribed yet. Let's talk about woke Hollywood.
I think I'm at like 80-something%, so that's pretty impressive that he's at 40. And shout out to Critical Drinker, he hit 2 million.
Again, instead of recapping the latest series of events that's led to the latest disaster, let's just keep things simple. Hollywood got woke, got broken, decided not to work, and then went broke. Don't believe me? Let's check with Hollywood. From the Hollywood Reporter, box office existential crisis ahead as Hollywood rethinks what makes a hit. Newsweek, Hollywood faces dramatic twist in 2024 box office. From Reuters, the Great Contraction hits Hollywood.
From 600 productions to 300, and like as Gary has pointed out a billion times, you can thank the strike for that. They let them enact force majeure, cancel a bunch of shit that they didn't really want to do to begin with, and start getting rid of writers that they didn't really want to hire.
What? Bloomberg, is there any hope for Hollywood? Time, the Oscars were glorious. Not really, but there's a storm brewing in Hollywood. New York Times, how bad can it get for Hollywood? I'm scared, why it's a brutal time to be a TV writer.
And as we found out, thank you, Chris Gore and Alan Ng from Film Threat, it is not only rough out there for those writers' rooms, but the lead writers, everyone is competing now for the same work because of that contraction. And it's almost like meritocracy matters again.
In Hollywood, almost everyone in Hollywood wants to get back to work. What's taking so long? Harper's Magazine, The Life and Death of Hollywood. Variety, Jerry Seinfeld says the movie business is over in Hollywood. And that's just a handful of articles from the last 4 months. You up to speed? Good, because we are well into post-apocalyptic woke Hollywood. Over the last few years, I seem to recall a lot of us saying that this party would end, and it has. And as a grateful recovering addict, I'm very familiar with the defense mechanisms you're about to hear, which include, but are not limited to, denial, rationalization, and projection. If memories...
So we got a lot of that in the last couple of years, but no, that's how long have we been saying go woke, go broke? And now that you've seen it repeatedly, specifically with Disney Marvel, and like where that last year in 2023, only one movie was really profitable, Guardians 3, and that was sort of a holdover. The evidence is mounting. It's harder and harder to dismiss us.
Serves a lot of people within the industry, including a lot of comedians, were warning that this whole PC thing is a bit of a slippery slope. And one of the biggest warning signs that Tinseltown's ecosystem was about to collapse is how it affected comedy.
It used to be you would go home at the end of the day. Most people would go, oh, Cheers is on. Oh, MASH is on. Oh, Mary Tyler Moore is on. All in the Family's on. You just expected there'll be some funny stuff we can watch on TV tonight. Well, guess what? Where is it? This is the result of the extreme left and PC crap and people worrying so much about offending other people.
Now that...
And that also, yeah, sorry, Gator, that is like a basic bitch understanding of it, right? He probably has no idea about any sort of ESG, DEI requirements, right? That's just a observation. And yeah, that is the effect, but not the actual cause and root problem of it. But that's definitely effect. Is like, look, they're all afraid of PCs. Like, well, that's part of it.
Correct and obvious statement blew up across the internet over the last 72 hours. And to state the obvious, the reason it's being cheered on across the internet is because we need more people from within the industry to call out the industry if anything's going to change. But it also led to comedy aficionado Stuart Heritage, pictured here from The Guardian, to retort. No, Jerry Seinfeld, the extreme left, hasn't killed comedy. The comedians claim that wokeness is the reason why comedy is no longer as funny, as lazy, and inaccurate. I can hear you now. What makes Stewart think he knows more about comedy than the man who's accumulated over $1 billion of personal wealth from his comedy?
Because I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and doggone it, people like me.
Okay, maybe he'll throw some data at us, lay down some stats, or go over some analytics.
Nope.
Well, unsurprisingly, within this 10-paragraph article that devolves into a personal attack on Jerry Seinfeld, including saying he's just mouthing off for clicks, Stewart.
I'd say it's a pretty polite mouthing off, but it's also not. Jerry is also not the only one in Hollywood to sort of point this out. I mean, every time someone said that you couldn't make The Hangover these days, that's the same sentiment.
Fails to make a single argument against the extreme left killing comedy. Now, he does bring up Curb Your Enthusiasm and then conveniently leaves out Jerry's response to that.
Yeah, Larry was grandfathered in. He's old enough that I don't have to observe those rules because I started before you made those.
And we've heard this argument before, and it's very true, at least with South Park, right? They're still able to be edgy and to have all their specials because they're grandfathered in. How the exact mechanics, now that we know they do have these actual standards, how they're able to weave their way through it, I don't know. But that does certainly seem to be the case that somehow they're allowed to get away with it.
It's rules.
And the same can be said for shows like South Park and Always Sunny.
Hey, Chief.
But notice these will be censored. These are removed from Netflix. Go try and find some of these episodes. They're suspiciously not there unless they've been put back. But last time there were a couple of these that were not there.
Why you look so stupid? I'm just playing. Cripple fight!
What's going on?
Some kind of gay pride rally.
What the hell? Dude, that's not a digital sports watch. Hey, it looks like one of those Ethiopians. What's your name, dude? Oh, Marvin. I think he said his name is Marvin. Yeah, Marvin.
But I have an example that comedy has been completely murdered in Hollywood, and all I had to do was a simple Google search. Anyone But You, a very mid-rom-com released
Which I still have not watched. If you have watched, let me know. Let me know if she's nude.
last Christmas, but I can think of a couple of reasons why it was successful.
Nice rack.
Was the first comedy to pass the 200 million mark in 5 years, and the first rated R comedy to pass that mark in almost 8 years. And if you want to get more depressed, that rated R comedy from 2016 was Bridget Jones' Baby. Unfortunately, these facts will not stop what the kids call these days the code. Or maybe that's just us old guys now. Jerry Seinfeld is on the New Yorker Radio Hour blaming the extreme left and PC crap for why there are no sitcoms anymore. Not streamers or any systematic reasons that we just saw play out with the WGA strike. And oh, we'll get to that. Just the wokes won't let us make comedy anymore.
But that all led to the strike. Okay.
Absolute brain rot. Then riddle me this. Why did old shows that have been off the air for almost a decade dominate the streaming charts last year, including old sitcoms like Seinfeld? And this reminds me of
similar to the Steam charts when many older games were charting far higher than any of the modern counterparts.
what director Todd Phillips said back in 2019. The filmmaker opined about why he chose to move from broad comedies to something as dark as The Joker. Turns out he just couldn't hang with the current culture, or the lack thereof it. Go try to be funny nowadays with this woke culture, Phillips told Vanity Fair. There were articles written about why comedies don't work anymore. I'll tell you why. Because all the funny guys are like, this because I don't want to offend you. Now, the lack of sitcoms or any hard R comedies in Hollywood really encapsulates the bigger problem.
And oh, damn, he got it as I was thinking it. Hangover and Tropic Thunder are the two movies commonly cited as the last good comedies right around the 20, and then like 2013 is like the boom. It all started to fall off, and 2016 is the explosion for obvious reasons of why this all started. And then I think peak woke was somewhere in there, like 2018, 2020, somewhere in there. And now we're sort of seeing the real pushback, not just from our corner of the internet, but from just normal everyday people that are like, okay, enough of this shit. Enough. I'm tired. Where's the good stuff? I'm tired of being preached to.
It's just one of many aspects of your industry that you either abandon or broke. Now that I come to think of it, a lot of us were saying that after you broke your model, you would be in competition with yourself and the audience.
That's not going to be good for business.
And us.
And now it's happening. Hollywood is running out of time to fix a broken business model. The strikes that shut down Hollywood studios for most of last year didn't recalibrate the entertainment industry. They exposed its biggest vulnerability. The business is broken. And as far as competing against itself, Judd Apatow says Netflix licensing HBO shows is a scary thing. You'll get fewer new shows because it's cheaper and because the older shows are better. And as far as the audience is concerned, why Hollywood should be terrified of YouTube, not Netflix.
Yeah. Okay. So we just had a conversation about this on the stream the other night, Inside the Badger Den, 9 p.m. PST, if you want to watch sometime live, where do you ever think like legacy news will come back or legacy TV, or anything where we'll all be watching together? It'll be a big zeitgeist. And the real answer to that, to me too, I think is no. No, it won't. YouTube and this type, because even if YouTube goes away, something like Rumble or something else will just replace it. But this type of interactivity where we get to talk to each other either on streams or down in the comments and across, and people follow the same streamers and content creators, and then they all get together and have their own yeah, you're not going back to what it was. You've changed things forever. I'm gonna give them a better class, a streamer.
There is now a completely different set of rules that goes into how we decide to be entertained, because if you and I and everybody else in this room wanted to be entertained for free for the rest of the month, we could be, between YouTube or an app or anything else that is part of the social media. That's free.
No, it's free. And just like, share, and sub. And to Gary.
That brings to mind another problem. Hey, you remember those beloved franchises that you paid billions of dollars for those built-in audiences that you decided to piss off and blame for your...
Pablo, hold on. Pablo with fucking Star Wars theory, and me too a little bit, got teared up when Luke Skywalker came back in Mandalorian season 2, just because we were happy after the shit show that was The Last Jedi to see him in some semblance of what we remember him as, Return of the Jedi. Went there and mocked him. One of many of mocking the fans, the actual fans.
Off and blame for your mistakes. Well, we tried to warn you.
You, big fella. You've managed to piss off every single one of them. That was the plan. Not a great plan.
And now there's a graveyard filled with franchises in various stages of failed reanimation, including but not limited to Star Wars, Star Trek, Doctor Who, the DCEU, The Witcher, Willow, Wheel of Time, National Treasure, Halo, Ghostbusters, Terminator, and The Rings of Power. But let's just...
But there's no woke problem. And all of these franchises are just fine. What are we talking? We should just touch grass, and we're all just racist, transphobes, and homophobes, and all the things, all the ifs and all the phobes. And yeah, we're all imagining it, and it's much to do about nothing. What's the big deal? Just make a PlayStation Network account. Yeah. Cope.
Pick the latest. Disney Marvel. Now that we're 5 years into the MCU, where the general audience is completely sick of it, but apparently Disney Marvel isn't, and now that it's safe to criticize Disney, there's no shortage of articles lamenting Marvel's failure.
And by the way, I hope he mentions it, but just in case he doesn't, again, verify, almost verified, don't quote me, but that they're going to focus on the females over the males in the X-Men reboot.
Big difference is they're not saying you're toxic. This time, no, they're just saying you're retarded. Avengers directors say Marvel's recent problems aren't due to superhero fatigue, but a big generational divide about how you consume media. I'm going to wait. Let's hear what they have to say. Marvel had a rough 2023 with 2 flops, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, and The Marvels. Speaking recently to Games Radar, the director said that Marvel's current issues boil down to the changes in how people absorb media. It's a Hollywood-wide issue, not just a Marvel one. There I agree. Joe Russo said, I think we're in a transitional period, you ain't lying, and people don't know quite yet how they're going to receive stories moving forward, or what kind of stories they're going to want.
Fucking good ones. I hate that one the most.
No, the audience wants the same stories they've always wanted. Good ones, and you are not providing it. By the way, that's the royal you. Joe Russo noted that the new generation of moviegoers communicates largely through memes and headlines.
Okay, yes, but we also read those headlines, and the memes are art if you do it well.
And I think this next generation is looking for ways to tell their own stories that service their own sort of collective ADHD.
Yeah, fuck you. And that doesn't negate the want to watch a movie or a TV show or a different type of process of entertainment. Yeah. That's Gary is right. That is copium.
Our good friend, The Little Platoon, had the best response.
Shout out Little Platoon.
Doctor Strange Mom, released in May 2022, made $955 million. Ant-Man 3, released in February 2023, made $476 million. And The Marvels, released in November 2023, made $206 million. By the way, all 3 of those films combined budgets equaled 75 Godzilla minus one. And yes, that should be the unit of measurement for every Hollywood budget from here on out. I don't think you can cram a whole big generational divide thing into 18 months.
And it's a shout out to the Little Platoon. I got to stream with him on Diabolical Souls Presents channel. Gooch, if you know, you know. And yeah, Little Platoon, really cool guy. Obviously, he's on open bar all the time, so there's a reason Drinker keeps having him back. But yeah, go give Little Platoon a look if you haven't, or if you are not aware of his channel.
And it didn't hurt Barbie, Mario, or Guardians 3. If your reasoning is, but the youngs just want to stream everything these days, then why have all the streaming shows bombed? And on the fan attack thing, it's probably not a good idea that She-Hulk star Tatiana Maslany is still out there calling Marvel fans sexist. Anthony Russo told
She-Hulk that specifically wrote into the plot us talking shit on story points they made horrible, knowing we would talk shit to think that they were clever. Yeah.
Games Radar, the superhero fatigue has nothing to do with superheroes in particular. It's just fatigue in general. You're absolutely right. It's an overall fatigue. Bad writing fatigue, bad acting fatigue, bad producing fatigue, bad directing fatigue, bad CGI fatigue, bad catering fatigue.
Bad being preached to. That's the number one thing when I talk to people or I see in the comments that like they don't know like the deep stuff, that if you watch all of the channels like in the Fellowship and the Bigot Army and the 199, all that stuff, the one thing that they're picking out that's turning them off, that's getting them to come to YouTube to look to reviews to see if someone else can put it into words, they're sick and tired of being preached to. They're sick and tired of being preached to.
All fueling the woke Hollywood fatigue. Oh, and there's a marinara-sized divide, but it's not generational. It's between the audience and Hollywood.
It is really huge.
Or you can just keep blaming attention spans, although Dude Part 2 was a hit with a running time of 2 hours and 46 minutes.
Saw it twice. Loved it.
And Oppenheimer was a hit with a running time of 3 hours. And let's not forget that everybody stopped worrying about COVID overnight when Spider-Man No Way Home came out. Which reminds me, as far as I can recall, a lot of us were reminding you that this would lead to lower ticket sales.
And just real quick, the other big thing is, yeah, people are done. Everyone has 4. Well, you can't see it now because I got a better chair. Everyone has 4K TVs and home surround sounds and projectors and blah, blah, blah. No one needs to pay $20 to go to a movie to have other people talk and fuck around and walk in front of you. So if you want them to go and pay that, you better bring the goods, like Wolverine and Deadpool, or Deadpool and Wolverine, or a No Way Home. Like, that's the other part of that. It better be worth it. Oh, you noob. It better be worth it.
There's no shortage of articles lamenting Marvel's 22 made 950. Mario still out there.
I knew it. You're still watching, make fun of me in the comments.
Is really huge.
Everybody stopped worrying about COVID overnight when Spider-Man No Way Home came out. Which reminds me, as far as I can recall, a lot of us were reminding you that this would lead to lower ticket sales. which has happened. Box office winter grosses hit
I'm about to see Fall Guy and it's $17, so I don't know if that's lowered, but
alarming lows. Concerns that domestic revenue would decline as major studio titles were delayed to 2025 were not unfounded. I also have a vague recollection of a lot of us warning Hollywood that with all these problems, it probably wasn't a good idea to go on strike.
That's a shame.
And it would end up leading to contraction and the great Hollywood purge.
Fortune
and now
tellers.
it's happening. Well, looky here. WGA strike 1 year later. Writers face a different sort of crisis.
Who could have seen this coming?
The Writers Guild of America called a strike 1 year ago today at time of recording, declaring that the streaming boom had created an existential crisis for writers, one that writers participated in. The WGA got most of what it wanted from the strike, though it took almost 5 months for the studios and the streamers to come around. But as the boom has gone bust, writers now face a different kind of crisis. For most, it's harder to find work. Yeah, no shit. And there's surprising statements in this article, like there's less being made.
and they let go the entire writer's room for the Silk Spider Society or whatever. It's a new Spider-Man adjacent TV show. So like, yeah, they screwed themselves.
Or the contraction was already underway before the WGA and the Film Actors Guild went on strike. But not to worry, writers who are working are already seeing the increase in their paychecks. This brings us back to the beginning of the video. If I'm not mistaken, a lot of us said that Hollywood as we knew it is over, and that's happening. Back to Jerry Seinfeld, the movie business is over, and film doesn't occupy the pinnacle in the cultural hierarchy anymore. Disorientation replaced it. And things are so bad, there's a 48-minute read article in Harper's Magazine titled The Life and Death of Hollywood. Film and television writers face an existential threat.
And the sad thing is, I fully believe you could bring it all back just like now, not to its full extent, because like I said, even if you brought back peak, if you got rid of every single DEI agenda, every woke mind virus, all the TDS, and you just had every brilliant like meritocracy writer back, and all the new ones that would just knew their stuff and wrote from life experience and all the good classical, you would still have to contend with the fact that, as I just said, everyone has 4K TVs, and interacting through YouTube like this is a much more, as someone has pointed out, callback to original interaction of stage plays, interpersonal, as opposed to just watching it on screen. And yeah, also doesn't help that through social media, we've seen that most of these celebrities are horrible, horrible people.
I'll sum it up for you. They're
We are
But it's not like the access media isn't trying to offer up some solutions. The Harper's article asks, what is to be done? The most direct solution would be government intervention. The government could also increase competition directly by funding more public film and television. And it would establish a universal basic income for artists and writers.
No offense, but it sounds like some commie gobbledygook.
Or maybe Hollywood isn't woke enough. Hollywood forfeits.
And yeah, she asked for state-funded movies and TV shows. That wouldn't turn into a weird propaganda thing real quick.
It's up to $30 billion every year because of racial inequity. Over 3 reports, McKinsey, the same one that's connected to Enron, has tallied up the entertainment industry's opportunity cost of continuing to diminish Black, Latino, and Asian Pacific Islander colleagues and audiences.
It's easy, you're.
That's offensive.
It's not.
Now, I definitely remember a lot of us for years warning Hollywood about the one thing the mainstream access media will not write articles on, the foundation of sand this was all built on, the slavish and now contractually obligated adherence to the message.
Right. That's the main thing. Drinkers talked about it. Cultural Marxism, intersectional feminism, DEI agendas, inclusion standards, all at the behest of economic social governments, investment groups like BlackRock, State Street, Vanguard, which were all, you keep going up the chain to the World Economic Forum, to the United Nations, to really the goddamn globalists who own everything. They want you to eat bugs. No matter how far up you go, though, those standards, those requirements are the cancer that is just infecting and destroying everything. And then you got a bunch of different people either weaponize compassion or just trying to not lose their jobs, or a combination of all of it, and it's ruining all the things.
This is the result of the extreme left and PC crap and people worrying so much about offending other people. Now they're going to see stand-up comics because we are not policed by anyone. The audience polices us. We know when we're off track. We know instantly, and we adjust to it instantly. But when you write a script and it goes into 4 or 5 different hands, committees, groups, here's our thought about this joke, well, that's the end of your comedy.
And with what Seinfeld just said right there, you can replace the word comedy with TV show, film, or industry. But let's look on the bright side. 2024 won't be as bad as the year of the flopbuster, where Disney dominated with 4 of the 5 biggest bombs of.
And I just want to say, you could also replace what he said about him and comedians with us on YouTube. First of all, it takes a lot of the same skill set. And also, you let us know instantly when we're off base or we have a hot take or something doesn't jive right. Again, authenticity is key, including authenticity in the audience. And you guys are authentic AF. So that is that relationship. The back and forth is something that's going to be very hard, if ever possible, to replace in Hollywood.
Of 2023, because thanks to the strike, while there still will be some crap, there won't be as much of it. And maybe the adult pretenders who work in Hollywood won't put out fire with gasoline by repeating the same cringe from the last election year. Never mind. Now, as what's left of whoever's working in Hollywood and the audience emerges from their bomb shelters to wander the post-apocalyptic woke Hollywood wasteland.
Stay alive till 2025.
That's current year. Yes, we will find the occasional oasis of The Gentleman or House of the Dragon or Doom Part 2. But unfortunately, those will be brief yet very welcome interruptions.
Shogun Fallout.
Between avoiding holdovers like
the American Society of Magical Negroes
and mutant zombie franchises like Madam Web and Velma. That'll make everyone want to go back to the vault. But at least the audience has the opportunity to take the advice of new Disney's Doctor Who star Ncuti Gatwa and touch grass.
I did. I was going to make a short. I touched grass and all his comments were still racist and his show still sucks. So, didn't work.
Nerdrotic.com.
If you like what you heard, please like, share, and subscribe. If you didn't like what you heard, I thank you for listening this long. I will see you in the next video.
If you've been watching this long, I thank you for listening. Gary, I thank you for all this. Like I said, one of the guy that I've been watching for years and got me to finally start doing the channel, and thank God it's working. But yeah, we got to get this under control on all fronts. Culture war. Oof. So looks like it's slowing down just because there's not much for them to come out and release. But back to the video game front. Next will probably be about the Stellar Blade Petition on the road to 100,000. Anyway, let me know what you thought of this. Did you watch the whole time? Make sure to like, share, and sub. If you have done that, thank you. If you're gonna do that, thank you. And
Well,